What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be checking out Amsterdam. Just got awesomer. So let's actually see what we got here today. This video is by Not Just Bikes, a great channel, did many reactions to this channel's videos, so check it out. Link will be in the description below. But yeah, let's get on with it. Let's see what we got here today, guys. And yeah, let's get it moving.
Amsterdam Central was under construction. In fact, it seemed like Amsterdam Central was always under construction. Now, I generally try not to go to the center of Amsterdam very often because it's basically Disneyland and yet also has too many cars somehow. But I often go to
That's weird for Amsterdam having cars. First time I've heard something like that before, like in Amsterdam having cars, because usually you do know they travel with like bicycles and that sort of stuff. So okay, first time I heard that one in Netherlands.
Amsterdam Central to catch a train, and so I've had to navigate construction projects many times over the past few years. But now, finally, this construction is almost complete, and a few days ago, the most impressive part just opened up to the public.
What is that? Oh yeah, I've reacted to this before. It's like a big parking area, bro. For bicycles only. That's crazy.
A lot of work done to the area around the Amsterdam Central Station in the past decade. Back in 2015, a much delayed project opened that made significant improvements to the station. Most importantly, getting rid of this road that cut off the station from the waterfront.
Okay.
Instead of a busy road, there's now a shared space for people walking and cycling, which mostly works, though tourists do sometimes have trouble figuring it out. The road now goes under the station.
Well, that is a confusing road.
And there's a spacious new area for buses on top that's much more accessible if you're transferring to or from a train. And they even have this cool hardware for charging electric buses while they wait.
Whoa, that's cool.
The bus station used to be here at the front of the station, where this whole area was a sea of asphalt. Another great addition was this tunnel for walking and cycling that allows easy access through the station to the ferry terminal at the back. I used to take this tunnel fairly regularly when I was working out of an office in Noord. That is, if I wasn't taking the M52 metro that day, another great project that opened in 2018. Connecting the north side of Amsterdam to the rest of the city with rapid transit for the first time.
Interesting.
The metro station itself is really spacious and modern, and it's a pleasure to ride, though I am surprised that
like, from what I see here, Amsterdam is kind of like really modernized like city, you know? They actually really fixed it up.
the metros come only every 6 minutes. That seems really infrequent for such a modern metro line, and I hope they increase frequency in the future. There are plans to extend this line to Schiphol Airport in order to divert passengers from the busy train system and allow more trains to run through Amsterdam Zuid, a station which is also seeing insane amounts of construction, but that will have to be a topic for a future video. Back to Amsterdam Central. The area in front of the station is much nicer these days, with a very large pedestrianized plaza directly outside of the station, and with this new entrance to the metro.
Okay.
There are several tram stops here too that can take you all over the city. Incidentally, I really appreciate how well trams fit into an area like this. There's no other form of surface transit that is so compatible with pedestrian areas, and it's one of the many reasons I love trams so much.
Well, that is actually pretty cool. Like, they have the trams, like, in the area that the people actually walking by, like, that is just insane, bro.
The fact that trams are on tracks makes them predictable, so people aren't scared to walk here, and it makes the area completely level, so it's still pleasant to walk, and doesn't provide any obstacles for wheelchairs or mobility scooters either. You really can't get this kind of shared environment with any other form of mass transit. This wouldn't work as well with buses, and you sure as hell can't do this with cars.
Right.
So while there's been a lot of construction in this area over the past decades, the results have definitely been worth it, but this new project takes it to another level. I mentioned earlier that the bus station used to be in front of the station. This made the front of the station very busy with cars and buses, making the path treacherous for people walking. One of the really nice parts about this latest project is the amount of asphalt has been reduced. As I mentioned, the buses are now at the back, but the road here is also narrower and has much less motor vehicle traffic. But most importantly, this was done by increasing the size of the water in front of the station. You can see from these aerial images how
It's actually weird to me that they increase the size of the water. Because, you know, like, most of Netherlands is actually all waterland, and they covered it, so they get rid of some water. And here it's like the reverse situation. But okay, fair enough.
the space devoted to asphalt has been turned into more space for water and boats. This makes the area in front of the station feel much larger and more inviting, because one of the best things a city can do is to remove asphalt. One of the glaring problems with Amsterdam Centraal, however, is the bicycle parking. Many years ago, this ugly thing called the fietsvlot was built to park bicycles in a kind of outdoor bicycle parking garage. This works okay, but it really doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
The fietsvlot was built in 2001 and was supposed to be a temporary solution until 2004, but it's still here today. And it's now well over capacity, so the area in front of the station was littered with bicycles, and
that's
the area
crazy.
behind the station too.
Honestly,
in
that's
the Netherlands,
crazy.
almost 50% of train passengers arrive on bicycle, and this station is no exception. But that means that there have to be enough parking spaces for all those bicycles.
True.
Of course, anybody that doesn't arrive at the station by car is an improvement, so the bike parking has really been a victim of its own success.
Yeah, they need bigger parking lots, to be honest.
This is really not good enough for the busiest and most important train station in Amsterdam. For example, at Amsterdam Zuid, the third busiest station, there are 1, 2, 3 underground parking garages. And this last one, opened in 2018, is absolutely stunning.
I've reacted to this one.
I use it on a regular basis, even though the other 2 garages are technically closer to the station. So when you see parking like that, you can understand why this janky metal structure needed to be replaced, and thankfully it has been, with 2 beautiful new bicycle parking garages.
Wow, that is beautiful.
The first and most impressive opened up just a few days ago, an underground bicycle parking garage in front of the station. Actually, underground is not really correct here, as it's actually underwater. This area, which used to be the busy road and bus station, is now mostly water, and the garage was built under it.
No way,
I was invited to tour the garage with press the day before it opened to the public. It was nice to go from being kicked out for filming to being toured around and offered champagne.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I finally made it to the big time. They also had these cakes with a fish riding a bicycle, perfect for an underwater bicycle parking garage.
I agree. Nice logo.
Mark from Bicycle Dutch was invited too, so you'll see him in some of my shots. Be sure to check out his detailed review of this parking garage on his channel, link in the description. And Chris from Modacity was here too. There were some speeches by politicians, some important people got interviewed, but anyway, on to more important things. The entrance to this new garage is wide and spacious, with multiple travelators to bring you and your bike down under the fishes. This is great because this garage is actually quite deep underwater, and it would be a pain to have to walk in and out of it with your bike. Bicycle parking facilities are only worth building if people actually use them.
Well, that's true.
Have
I
to
mean,
be as easily accessible as possible, otherwise
you can't build something and then have people not use them. So yeah, but this, of course, you can tell people really need a big parking lot. I mean, look at that. That looks not good, bro.
people
Not
will
good.
just leave their bicycles parked on the surface instead. So at the back of the garage, there's an escalator that goes up here, and it connects directly to the metro station and train station here, so this can be even faster than parking on the surface. And in case you're wondering, no, Amsterdam doesn't build underground garages where you can ride your bike into them, because the city believes that they're too dangerous after a fatal accident at this one.
Okay.
One thing to note, though, is that there's no cover over this entrance. I was told this was done to maintain the views of the historic station. However, these roll pads, as they're called in Dutch, get quite slippery when they're wet, so most other garages have a cover and warning signs like this. It does make me wonder if this new garage will be a slip and slide when it rains. When you enter the garage, there are these fare gates where you can tap your public transit card or bank card. As with most bicycle parking garages in the Netherlands, the first 24 hours is free, and then it's usually €1 and change for every day after that. Though I noticed that the price isn't mentioned on the signage, which is a bit weird because it is at other garages in the city.
Okay.
There is space to park up to 7,000 bicycles in this garage, which makes it the largest in Amsterdam, but
7,000, bro, that's a lot. I mean, come
not
on.
the largest in the Netherlands. That title still goes to the one at Utrecht.
Okay. How many does
As
this
an
fit?
irrelevant aside, for bicycle parking, instead of saying garage, as is done for cars, the Dutch use the word stalling, which literally translates as stabling, like what is done for horses. I wish we would call these bicycle stables in English too. It's way more fun.
Okay.
The rows have these LED lights that show how full a given row is, and these lights won't all be green for long. Every row is labeled with a number so you can remember where you parked, though curiously, the racks themselves are not numbered like they are in most other Dutch bicycle garages. What is typical though is that bicycles can be parked 2 levels high, and the upper racks are spring-loaded to make it easy to lift your bicycle up. There are sections with slightly larger
Wow.
racks too where bicycles with crates can be parked, though one glaring omission is that larger bicycles such as cargo bikes aren't allowed to park in this garage. So
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure where you're supposed to park a bakfiets at Amsterdam Centraal now. The staff just told me there will be an area on the east side.
Well, the thing I like about this garage, like, for the top space, it's cool that it actually slides out. You put it down and you can actually easily then place your bike and lift it up and push it in. That's really handy. I want to see a video though, like this happening in action, so I get a more idea of how it actually looks. Anyway,
This seems pretty typical in Amsterdam, unfortunately. The relatively new parking garage at the Beursplein was also not built to allow cargo bikes. So they recently created this little area at the back where you can park a few bakfiets and outside. And at Amsterdam Zuid, only one of the 3 parking garages allows for bakfiets parking. What is accounted for is OV fiets, the public bicycles that can be rented by the day from most train stations in the Netherlands. Eventually, this whole open area will be full of rental bikes.
okay.
These are fantastic when you're visiting a city by train but need to get around by bicycle when you get there. I've used them many times in other cities, and I should probably make a video about them someday.
Yeah, I've never heard about this. We need to check that video out if it's available.
And there's also a bike shop in case you need some repairs done to your bike, or need to pick up some parts or accessories. I went back to this parking garage on the first weekend that it was open, and with so many people, I noticed just how annoying these automated travelator warnings are.
Yep.
Inside the garage, there were lots of people taking pictures and video. This has become the newest Amsterdam tourist attraction.
Wow, just imagine a bicycle parking becoming a Netherlands attraction place. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
So it goes without saying that this garage, bicycle stable, is stunningly beautiful. It's obvious that a lot of time, effort, and money has gone into designing it.
It does look
This
like
bicycle parking isn't an afterthought. It's not some small dark corner where they decided to stuff in some bicycle racks like you'll find in so many other countries.
That's true, bro. That is true.
People may ask, how can they afford all this stuff? But the real question is, how can other cities afford not to? Cycling is considered to be first-class infrastructure here because Amsterdam recognizes that every single person who shows up to the train station by bicycle is ultimately saving the city money, and so it's encouraged as much as possible by being inviting, functional, but also beautiful. That bicycle shop I mentioned has this glass wall, where every square is a famous painting by Dutch artists. And one wall of the garage is old maps of Amsterdam, starting from about 1,000 years ago and continuing to the present day.
Wow.
They are also made up of paintings. At the back of the garage are these sculptures, which were designed in the 1960s. They were preserved from a demolished building, but they fit right in.
That's
And the roof
cool,
of the
bro.
garage has these huge circular lights that document the nautical history of the Netherlands through historical paintings. It's nice that infrastructure projects in the Netherlands almost always have an art budget. That tunnel through the station that I showed earlier also has this artwork on the walls, and I love this so much.
Oh, that's amazing,
There's
man.
so many other cities I've lived in where public projects are designed as cheaply as possible, with little or no thought as to how they'll actually look.
Yeah, like here they built this, but they built it without being stingy on spending money. So they made it like really, really attractive. Like it's a beautiful place. I mean, it looks really nice. It helps people with bicycle parking. There's art inside. So just imagine how many things like just in one place. That's crazy.
Look, I am convinced that traveling through horribly ugly places on a regular basis takes a toll on your mental health. And car infrastructure is inherently ugly and dehumanizing. I strongly believe that there are benefits to society for people to be regularly traveling to, from, and through places that are beautiful. And I'm glad to live in a country that appreciates that too. So that's the first garage, and it's definitely impressive, but there's actually a second bicycle parking garage that's still under construction that will open in a few weeks. This second bicycle parking garage is underground, not underwater, located behind the station on the riverside.
Okay.
This is great for people approaching from the north side and the ferries across the river. It's quite a bit simpler than the garage at the front of the station. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still really nice, but it's not all full of fancy
That's
artwork
nice as
either.
well.
There's no travelator here, so you have to bring your bike up the stairs like a goddamn animal. But then this garage isn't very far underground, so it's not very difficult either.
Okay.
The building follows the curve of the river, which makes it quite a bit more visually interesting than a rectangular box. But since there are just several long rows, the sections are labeled with words instead of row numbers.
Okay.
And each rack is labeled to help you find your bicycle when you return.
That's cool.
And they were also playing music in here for some reason.
All right.
Gangnam
Okay.
style while you park your bicycle. This garage is a great use of the long, narrow space behind the station, and I'm really looking forward to it opening, so that maybe, just maybe, we can get a few years without construction at Amsterdam Central. That is, until the next time they decide to make it even awesomer. If you'd like to see more about these parking garages, be sure to check out the video that Bicycle Dutch put together, as he's seen a lot more of them than I have. And if you'd like more Not Just Bikes content, consider subscribing to Nebula. I assume you've heard of Nebula before, but it's the creator.
Wow. So basically, bro, that was a really interesting video. Really enjoyed that. Let me know, guys, your thoughts on this in the comments below. I mean, for Amsterdam, a modern place, they just make it really, really beautiful. It's a place I want to visit sometime in my life. Planning to do that next year sometime. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, go smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and guess we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and peace out.